Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to show you guys how I ended up down after a pretty good week last week. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of an update as well in this video on kind of where the account is at. But let me fix the camera. But I want to show you guys the loss I took today and why I ended up losing. It's really good to have days like these just because you learn so much as a trader. Not only like how the market, like you learn more about the market, but you also kind of learn how to trade yourself. So I'm gonna kind of get into that. I'm gonna start off with my trade last night during Asia session. You know, this is gonna be pretty simple why I lost. We're in a downtrend. I tried to go long. The shadow supply strat works so well, and I'm gonna show you guys why. But I need to definitely kind of tune it as well. So as we can see, we are in a clear downtrend on the 15 minute, right? On the 1 hour, we're still technically bullish. Because if we take our trend line here and we put it at some previous lows, we are still in an uptrend. Actually, let me put this one here, put this one here. We're still in an uptrend. All right, we technically had a 1 hour break of structure here, moving towards a downtrend. We had a re-break of structure, but we are still in a market going upwards. All right, so what ends up happening is when we trade this shadow supply, we are looking for a wick that is larger than the opposing candle wick plus candle body, right? So I have this candle wick right here. All right, let me draw a little line to it. This candle, oh, not that one. Let me do this instead. We have this candle wick right here. Right here, right? This candle wick is larger than the opposing body, and let me scale it down to the 3 minute. We look for a break outside the zone. We look for a reclose inside. We look for a break outside and close, right? And then you do a 1-to-1 with your stop loss, and your stop loss goes at the bottom of the 15-minute zone, right? So we had a break out, right? So if the candle doesn't actually count. So this is where the 15-minute candle ends. This is where the new 15-minute candle opens. So we have a breakout. We close above. We break back in and we close. And then we break out again and we close. So I took my entry longs, and as you guys can see, we were 1.25 points away from our full profits. And I didn't take because I was like, we're right there. We're just gonna push up and we're gonna hit my my limit order. And as you guys can see, that is exactly where the market decided to reverse and go the opposite way to continue our 15-minute downtrend. Now, actually, let me keep these here. Now, the main reason, if we go back to the 15-minute. We go back to the 15 minutes. Where did we go? Hello. What is going on? Where's my 15-minute? If we go back to the 15-minute, we can see we are creating lower lows, lower highs. We went down to create lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on. So the main reason why this trade lost is strictly just due to us being in a 15-minute downtrend, right? So when you're doing shadow supply, I would say definitely look at the overall bias of the market, but also look at your 15-minute market, right? So if we're in a 1 hour uptrend, but we're making a 15-minute retracement in that 1 hour uptrend, then shorts are probably going to be your best friend because we're not looking for long-term plays here. We're looking for very short scalps. So when it comes to the shadow supply strat, I need to definitely kind of tune it to where I need to make sure that my 15-minute bias aligns with the trade direction I'm going. So here I should have looked for shorts. Now I'm going to try to see if I can even find shorts from that night. We're a little bit ahead. Okay, so I took my trade. Where are we? That's today. This is last night. Okay. So let's see. Are there any? I like this candle right here. Now is the candle wick. So we have 7.5 points, 7.75. So I wouldn't count that one. Honestly, this candle right here, 8.5, 8.75. That's not very good. I'm not sure if we would have had. Okay, here we go. This would have been an entry. This candle is literally perfect. All right. So this scale down to the 3 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so look, we have a close. We have a close below, right? So we have 1, 2. This is the 15-minute candle where it closes. The new 15-minute candle opens here. 1, we have a close below, a break inside, a close below. We take shorts right here. Put our stop loss at the previous high. We target 18.25 points. And as you guys can see, full profits right here. Now, granted, 11:27 p.m. Am I going to be up? No, but what we do notice, right, is our 15-minute aligns with the trade direction that we took, right? So that's something that I definitely want to look into. I definitely know that every time that I've hit a trade and then lost a trade, it has truly been because of the 15-minute direction going in the opposite way. So yeah, but I'm going to show you guys the second trade that I took, which was during New York session. So let's go ahead and get over here. Let me remove this. So as you guys can see, this is the market open candle right here. We had a huge candle. And we swept London high, Asia high, and the highs up here. And as you can see, with this humongous imbalance, and we also had London low to take out, right? So what I wanted to see is I wanted to see us inverse this 5-minute. I wanted us to enter, and I wanted us to go and take out our London low. That's all I wanted, right? Just 129 points down, and I was golden. But the issue with this trade, right? Yes, confluences were met. Swept high, swept high, right? And we ended up forming an MSS. We had a break of structure when this candle closed, right? Everything looked so golden, but this was all during news, right? So I have a little, the one thing I learned from one of my mentors is I definitely need to wait 10 minutes. If there is a red candle, a red folder, or even an orange folder, depending on what it is, I need to wait 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after. I'm calling it the 10-10 strat, right? So we don't trade during news because news is so unpredictable, just like today, right? So if we look on the 1 hour, let's go to the 1 hour. If it'll load, so just stay with me here, guys. Stay with me here. Something's happening. I don't know what's happening, but something's happening. Let me try reloading the tab. Let me save and reload. Let's see if this works. Come on. Come on. You guys are seeing this live. I'm going to try to keep this uncut. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, and we're back. So, as I was saying, this was at news, and news is very unpredictable. So, as you guys can see, we might have been, right? We might have been in a 5-minute down, 5-minute, we had a break of structure to the downside. Right, but at the end of the day, we are still in an uptrend. If I go to the 1 hour, where did my trend line go? We still have not broken our 1 hour trend line. And as you guys can see, if we look on the 1 hour, we're still very bullish, right? So when it comes to these types of trades, we need to take the larger scale into consideration. But I don't think this trade went the wrong way because of I don't think the trade went the wrong way because of our 1 hour trend. I think it went the wrong way because of news, right? News is just so unpredictable, right? News is what caused us to go to inverse this, right? Price didn't. It was news. If there was no news, we might have just continued off of this massive imbalance and went higher like we ended up doing, right? So there's definitely stuff like that. And now I'm going to show you guys a trade that I wish I took based off of this. So on the 30-minute, we swept this internal low, right? We have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we have a big high. So we swept this internal low, and then we could have taken our bearish trend, inversed, right? Inversed the fair value, the imbalance on the way down, or fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. Done our 30-point stop loss, targeted our previous high, and then we also have another external high right here on the 1 hour that we could have that price probably wants and we could have targeted. And as you guys can see, price is probably going to hit this external high. So this is the trade that I wish I took today. But it happens, I had a mental error of, the loss last night kind of affected my trading today, just strictly because of what happened, and then the loss. I wanted to get it all back, so I was like, I really like this trade. All my confluences are met, but we don't trade news, right? I mean, just look at this. The market open, and we kind of have a gap here, right? Just because of news. That's just what news does. And it happens, there's a reason why a lot of people don't trade news, and I wish I listened to that today, but I'm going to start utilizing my 10-10 strat. I'm going to have to, this is probably the perfect week for that to happen, just because of how much news there is. So But yeah, I mean, I really got nothing else today. Those are my 2 losses. If you guys have any questions, like I said, leave them down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer any of your guys' questions. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next recap. Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully with a better recap. But if I don't take a trade, I'm not going to film a recap. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy. And like I said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.